Hello,
There
friends.
we go. Hey, friends. We're
Hi.
here early because it's Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Woohoo!
Thank God, because I needed a break from these kids, y'all.
Facts. Huge facts.
Like, I'm done. Today we did a I'm thankful for project. My sweet Diego decided to tell us that he was thankful for all the worms in the world, especially the worms in his house.
Very nice.
Like, okay. He's like, how do you spell worms? And I was like, for what?
For why?
Like, why? And he's like, because I'm thankful for worms. And I was like, okay, sure. All right.
Yeah, moments before I came in here, my daughter asked me what the worst type of worm to have was. And I'm like, all of them? I guess, And then she proceeded to tell me about some tropical worm that if a year or two after you drink infected water, it has to come out of your foot or your leg. And the only way to get it out.
Oh, is it a bot worm?
No, it had some kind of, it wasn't a bot worm, but it takes like a month. It has to wrap around a stick. That's the only way to safely remove it. And it can take up to a month. So don't go to the tropics and drink unpurified water. That's the lesson from today's
The way he
trivia.
says water makes my life happy.
I know my wife makes fun of me so much for the way
Do you have the pencil? Do you have the Pennsylvania? People here say wooder.
Yeah.
Like wood, wooder, and woodist.
Yeah.
So speaking of daughters and funny daughter things, when I was picking up Josie from after school today, she hops in the car and I'm listening to a Tennessee podcast, right? We're driving away and she goes, Daddy, are these guys Tennessee fans or are they sad?
Are those things separate?
And I said, yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Straight up, yes.
It's so tasty.
I'm so how Sydney's not a depressed hog fan anymore when she still has Sam Pittman.
I still am, but trying to be positive after a win.
Fair.
Smart. I wish I knew what that was like.
Say Auburn doesn't have that.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good transition. That's a good segue.
There I am. God, if everyone will help me, we have a New Mexico State fan in the house because, well, why not? After Auburn embarrassed.
Wait. Is it like this?
Two fingers, right? we steal all the other Aggie stuff from all the big schools, and we just claim it as our own.
So where does New Mexico State fall on the hierarchy of Aggies?
Probably in last, considering. Depending on the sport, right? But football specific, absolutely. Like year in, year out for the last, I don't know, up until like 3, 4, 5 years ago, we were bottom 10 in the nation year in, year out. I mean, if you hop on, the ESPN bottom 10 rankings, you'll find NMS Woo on there all the time for good standing too. I mean, I can't tell you like how many 2-9, 3-8, 3-10 seasons we went through over the years. Actually, 2017 was our first bowl in 57 years. We had what we called the Woodson Curse. If you guys want to go look that up and learn a little bit more about New Mexico State University, we did not make a bowl game for over half a century. That's where I went to school. Very proud. There you go. I even got little sign up in my office here to make sure I'm repping a little bit. Usually our big sport is basketball. We're usually making the 64 year in, year out pretty consistently. So we usually keep all of our gear packed up until basketball season, which is why I don't have any out right now. This was a very unexpected win, and I didn't want to hop up in my attic on short notice. So, but thank you for having me.
Hey, happy to have you.
Man. Happy to have you around. Heck yeah. Hey, so I got a question for you, Cole. Are you red chili or green chili guy?
So really good question. State of New Mexico, only state in the union that has a official state question. It's red or green. The only right answer, if you're a native, is Christmas. A little bit of both. A little
There
bit of
you
both.
go.
Look at that, diplomatic.
Yep.
He
I
doesn't
think
have.
I
an
think
answer, but
I think
he-
Florida might have some state questions too.
It doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't. Legit. New Mexico is the only state with an official state question.
Okay, official. Okay, clarify.
Hey, we got few things to hinge on, and now the big win over Auburn, like that one's going down in the record books. People are going to be talking
Right
about
next
this
to like
30 years.
Billy
from
the
now.
Kid and
Yeah.
Smokey Bear, right?
That's pretty much it. Pretty much it.
Oh, good
Nice.
I'm
Lord.
trying to think. What else can we tell you about New Mexico State football? Our biggest probably product in terms of players from the program was Charlie Johnson. He came out in 1961. Nobody's ever heard of him. He played 15 seasons in the NFL. He made a few starts for the Broncos and the St. Louis Cardinals, dating it a little bit, but also another little factoid, only player in NCAA football history to win MVP in the same bowl game back-to-back years, 59 and 60 Sun Bowl.
Huh.
Look at
Oh,
that.
Sun Bowl.
I know. I'm dropping facts. Who knew? Who knew? New
I'm looking
Mexico
him up right
State
here.
had
He's
such a
he's
rich
still alive.
history. He is. After
Charlie
he
Johnson.
played, he actually went back to New Mexico and taught chemical engineering at the school, and then eventually became department head and then retired just a few years back. No joke. So that's probably our biggest claim to fame in football, honestly, outside of this win. It's bad. It's real
That's
bad.
Auburn.
Mitch,
Has
So-
New Mexico State ever beat an SEC team before this weekend?
No, first SEC team win that
Just means more.
we've ever had. I think out of the Power
really does.
5, we beat Arizona State in 99 when they were actually ranked 22nd. So that was also a big notable win. And then a few years after that, ironically, when Jerry Kill was actually the coach at Minnesota, we beat Minnesota up on their turf. I think that was like 2013, if I remember correctly. So
little things.
yeah. Outside of that, we got nothing. We're happy to get a 500 season, get invited to a bowl game now. This year, we've already locked up a chance at the conference championship. I think this is our first year in Conference USA.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. How
Yeah.
long were y'all independent?
So a while, not too long. It was probably like I want to say like half a decade, maybe a decade. I don't remember exactly. But we have jumped around. So, I think probably when I was born and raised, I remember us being in the WAC, which now doesn't exist, obviously. We've been in the Sun Belt Conference before a couple of times. We went in, got out, went back in at some point. So, but this is our first stint in Conference USA.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Mitch sounds like one of my first graders from last year. Every time you teach them about someone old, they're like, "Wait, is he dead?"
Hey,
That's a Mitch thing too, though.
I mean,
That
based
is-
on
yeah,
the
that is
years that we're
Mitch's-
talking about, it's a legitimate question too, right? Like,
all of Black History Month. Is she dead? Is he dead? They're like,
So I just looked it up. You guys are in the conference. So like Liberty is currently undefeated in the conference, but you guys beat Liberty last year, right?
that we did. So I'm glad.
And
you
who was
set
the
that one
coach
up.
at Liberty
It
last
was
year?
Hugh Freeze. And
Ooh.
actually,
Oh.
funny thing, last time a team that was a 21-point underdog to win by at least 21 points was that game last year, NMSU versus Hugh Liberty, or against Hugh Freeze. So he now has back-to-backs, if you will.
He has blown 21-point favorites in back-to-back years to the same coach.
To the same team. To the same coach too, because Gill was here last year. Yeah.
Coach
Two
Gill.
different teams that he coached, though. How ironic.
That's awesome. That
So,
is
yeah.
awesome.
Oh my
It's-
God.
I know. It's crazy.
It's like,
I will say, like, looking at some of the Auburn stuff this week.
Oh man, those are some sad.
Man, they were really starting to feel pretty good. Like Auburn had started to kind of peek their head up. They got a couple of recruits, they flipped somebody from Florida. They were kind of feeling themselves a little bit.
They were gonna flip Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman was flipping. Yeah, they were flipping everybody. Hugh Freeze was swinging it around, and everybody was coming to the plains. And thank you, Jerry Kill. Thank you, New Mexico State Aggies. A little shade and fraud, however you want to.
We do what we can.
The Auburn Barstool account tweeted before the game, "The Auburn Tigers play football today back inside the best stadium in the country." I quote tweeted it and I said, "Is that what you call what you did today?" Playing football, are you sure?
So, some of that statement was accurate. They did play football in a stadium, or they were at least in a stadium.
I don't give any chances to do this, so I'm going to run with this. Like, did they actually play football? I mean, let's be honest. That was sheer dominance. Like, if you go back and look at the stats, first downs, we doubled them up. Total yardage, we almost doubled them up. What else did I see? Red zone trips. We were 4 for 4 touchdowns on our red zone trips.
Somebody
had none.
Somebody in the Field of Streams chat said that if you took away punting plays in the second half, that Auburn ran less than 10 total plays.
They only were no. So possible. No. I couldn't have been. They had ran 15 total plays by halftime, and then they ended up with 45 total plays for the game. So
maybe it was the first half that they were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely could have been.
If you take out punting plays, they had run less than 10, something like that.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
They ran 15 total plays in the first half. That was it. I mean, they didn't get a chance to get anything going. Their average to go on third downs for the entire game was like 9.6 yards. I mean, it was crazy. I'm still just my head is still in the clouds from this performance.
So
it's unreal.
I love it.
Auburn had one possession in the first quarter.
Yeah.
One. They punted on it. They went 3 and out. So New Mexico State ran 20 plays for 12 minutes of the first quarter. Damn.
Ate up the clock. Just ate it up.
That's kind of. I mean, we kind of did a similar thing to who was that? Was it against Ole Miss? There was like Ole Miss was punting on their second possession as the first quarter expired, and because I don't remember exactly how it went. Like I think we got the ball, but then they scored on their first. No, they got the ball first. They scored on their first possession, and then we got the ball and just sat on top of it and just didn't do anything at all, right? And then the end of the quarter came and I can't remember if we score and tie. Yeah, we tied it up and then gave them the ball. And on their second play, they were like, okay, that's the end of the first quarter. We're moving on. And I was like, damn, what just happened here? But Georgia's possession was something like 11 minutes and 58 seconds or something like that. It was crazy.
For the game, New Mexico State had the ball for almost 39 minutes. Auburn had 21 minutes of possession. I saw the score and was just laughing. I didn't actually look at the box score until just now, and man, that's called getting put into a blender.
Yeah.
While you're on that, Ethan, pull up the Georgia-Tennessee time of possession. Just look at that real quick.
Don't mind if I do.
Maybe if Auburn would have let their coach stand on the field during an interception return, they would have won the game.
I hear it helps. My God. 19 minutes. Tennessee had the ball for 19
Tennessee had the ball 19 minutes.
I didn't watch much of that game. I listened to it, and this is the thing that when people always talk about how explosive Josh Heupel's offense is, those offenses are awesome until they're not. And when they're not, you throw 3 passes and punt. And then your defense is back on the field again. And Tennessee, they did that to us. They did it to you guys. Like, if it doesn't work, it's miserable.
You mean the same Tennessee team that tells me that if they could have beat A&M by more if they wanted to?
Yeah, probably.
If they wanted to.
That's mistake number 1 is listening to Tennessee fans.
They took the first play 75 yards. Just our freshman linebacker caught out of position, and the guy goes straight up the gut, right? 75 yards untouched. And from that point forward, they had a total of 202 yards for the rest of the game. And I mean, it was just like watching like a an anaconda like eat a baby deer. Just like unhinging its jaw and just slowly devouring it. There was nothing at all.
I was watching the Michigan Penn State game, and that's what they kept referring to it as, was a python or a boa constrictor. Of like when Michigan, I think they ran the ball for like 16 consecutive plays.
Yeah,
and it's like, we're going to run the ball. We're going to hand the ball off to our running back, and he's going to get at least 4 yards. And we're going to do this until we hit our heads on the goalpost. And Penn State, they were just like, okay. And then you're just watching. It's like a 9-minute drive, and you're just like, man, this is brutal to watch.
Yeah. Penn State fans, dude, that is Auburn's past sad. They've just like, the bottle is empty, now they're trying to bust it on a brick so they can like slice themselves open. But man, the Penn State people, holy cow, that's some sad people. I get to see them. I get to look in their face every day, and just helplessness, right? Look at Sydney. Sydney's, you're perfectly fine, Sydney. Very, very well adjusted. No more depressed Hog fan. You could be a Nittany Lion. You could be.
I'm all right.
I know exactly. A bunch of A&M fans are like, we should go after Penn State's coach. And I said, do you understand that that's the same thing as Jimbo?
It might be. I don't know.
I've had Florida fans. We're not exactly known for being patient, and Billy Napier so far has not exactly done well. But I don't understand. People are like, let's go and get James Franklin, and it's like, look, Billy Napier may get fired next year. I don't know. James Franklin damn sure is not winning anything. Like, Billy Napier probably isn't winning anything. Okay, cool. But he might. James Franklin is not. Like, there's 0% chance it's going to happen. Like, even if it's 1%, okay, cool. There's potential. James Franklin has shown what he is. And there's no point in pretending that James Franklin can go to another program and be like, oh, yeah, now it's going to work. Like, he's not even close. He like, what, 2-17 or something against ranked opponents? Like,
something like that.
It might be worse, actually. I think it's 3 out of 22.
Yeah, like
3 and 19.
The last time A&M beat a top 10 ranked team on the road, I was still a student at A&M. And that was in 2013, I believe, or 2015. One of the two.
Wait, was that Johnny Football's time, or is that
no? It was right after Johnny.
All right.
It was right. I don't know. I couldn't tell you who the quarterback was at that point because that was the rotating door of quarterbacks. May have been Trevor Knight. May have been Kyle Allen. Who knows? I know Trey Carson was there, our running back, because he tweeted about it. He was like, the last time we beat a top 10 ranked team on the road, I was the running back. Guys, get your shit together. I was like, same, Trey, same.
So that brings, I've seen people talking about Josh Pate's opinion that Texas A&M is possibly a top 3 or 4 job in the SEC.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I really disagree with it, but at the same time, it's like when you factor in Oklahoma and Texas as well, like A&M, it's like they have all of the ingredients for a delicious pie, but for some reason it comes out tasting like baking soda. Like, I don't understand it. Like Texas, they've only won 1 title in 50 years, but like, y'all are all right there in Texas where all this elite talent comes from. You have buku of money. How do you guys only have 1 title across the second most populous state in 80 years? How does this happen?
Battered Aggie syndrome.
But it's not just Aggie. I mean, Baylor's there. TCU was in the title last year. Texas is there. Like, you guys have all these SMU. Like, how does it happen?
So let me ask a question. Like, do you really want to give TCU that much credit, especially after the title game performance?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's still much closer than most of the other Texas schools have gotten.
That's fair.
If I'm going to include SMU's little run in the 80s, I feel like at least finishing second, TCU should get a little shout out. TCU, and they were close, 10, 15 years ago with Gary Patterson, who had them undefeated, and you were 1 loss or something, and they were right there. So how do y'all feel? Do y'all think Texas A&M's the top 3 or 4 job in the SEC? And
wait, in the top 3 or 4 in the SEC or in the country? Is that
in the
Yeah.
SEC?
Okay. Let me think about that for a second.
I feel like in terms
Yeah.
of resources, sure.
Yeah.
In terms of fan support,
I think
sure. But unless you're going to show me that you can get it done, I don't know.
But we got to take results out of the equation, right?
Okay.
Like we got to look at just the factors of what makes something an ideal job.
name a school in the SEC with more money to spend than Texas A&M. Maybe Georgia, Bama, LSU.
I don't think any of those schools are even in the realm of Texas A&M. A&M's much larger, much richer. Yeah, like A&M just dropped $80 million to fire a coach. Like,
right.
They did. Are they going to be willing to spend that kind of money again, though? Too, like, I don't think anybody's talking about where the administration's at in terms of.
You'd think they'd
what their
learn.
budget's going to be moving forward, right?
Yeah,
like they got burned a little bit
move.
on Sumlin before that. Now you get burned on Jimbo real bad. Like that's going to make somebody hesitate at some level.
I feel like you don't get. I feel like the AD doesn't get the go ahead to make that move unless he has support from the administration. You don't get. I feel like you don't get to write a $75 million check unless your bosses say it's time. But the thing that confuses me is Jeff Traylor is the name that I've seen popping up, and it's like it's like you're gonna fire a guy for $75 million and then go and hire somebody from UTSA.
Hell of a coach.
Well, I mean, if they're only going to pay him a couple mil a year, relative, that's a bargain. You know what I mean?
I didn't want it.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like you gotta go have somebody that's gonna come in immediately. Like you gotta have, and Jeff Traylor might be that guy, right? I just, man, it's just hard. Well,
come back home.
What about Rhett Lashley? I'm surprised you guys didn't try to make a run at Rhett Lashley.
I'm good.
These are not the droids you were looking for.
For real, she just Jedi mind tricked me right there.
Yeah, I'm good on SMU coaches for a long time.
Chad Morris Redux here. I gotcha.
You didn't love Chad Morris, man. I loved Chad Morris.
I bet you did.
So my question to you, Shelbie, is like, what does A&M? What do they want? Do they want to compete for national championships?
Oh yeah.
Is that what? Okay, fair enough. All right, so you got to find somebody who's going to be able to get over the Ryan Days, the Jim Harbaughs, the Kirby Smarts, the Nick Sabans of the world. You know what I mean? So who is that person who's going to take those clowns out, right?
And that's the question: is that there are so many names being thrown. I'm not going to pretend that I know things about coaches and that I do that research because I don't. But we've got to stop hiring these guys that are like, oh, he has one national championship. We should get him. Like, okay, he did it once with a great
$80 million.
Let's throw him $80 million in a trophy that says national title 20 blank.
I got a blank space, baby. I'll write your name.
I mean, it sounds like you're advocating for Dabo.
Oh, please go.
Or Matt Brown.
Like, well, no, they have to have more than one. They have to have more than one for the Aggies, I guess.
Oh yeah. That was the problem. They got
it's either
Dabo, only one.
Yeah, it's either Dabo, Kirby, or Saban.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see Dabo leaving. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Dabo's little shtick with little old Clemson has run its course. I think what was his name? Kevin from Spartanburg or whatever the kid's name was. That got his ass chewed out by Dabo on the radio.
But you know what? Like Dabo has his downside too. He doesn't use the transfer portal, which is it's mission critical as as far as any team's concerned, right? Like I don't understand how you don't use the transfer portal and plan on having a successful program anywhere, right?
Use it to degrees, right? Like I mean, some coaches are going to go raid the transfer portal at Lane Kiffin, and other people are going to use it the way that I think it should be used as band-aids, but Dabo just completely, it doesn't exist. Like there's no such thing as transfer portal.
Dabo wouldn't survive at A&M because it's a cult.
How is that different?
Yeah, I mean,
you've met Mikey, right? Like,
oh, good Lord.
Poor old Mikey, man. Even that guy sold his stock, dude.
Really?
Yeah, man. I'm like, dude, the other day he was like, oh shit, I forgot that that Clemson was even supposed to be playing. They're playing UNC. He was like, I forgot they were playing. Like he was just mowing the lawn or whatever,
He's starting to sound like an NMSU fan.
One season. That's all it takes for these new bloods to jump off the bandwagon.
Oof.
See, I've dealt with too much heartbreak with A&M to let go now. And I told myself that when the Rangers won the World Series, I was like, the Aggies can't hurt me anymore. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. You're like, the Aggies hit me because they love me. That's where you are.
Apparently, okay, Anaya Smith has another year of eligibility. Please, dear God, why not? It's not like he's really going to make it in the NFL.
Yeah, but if he sticks around for long enough, they'll give him an AARP card. He'll get that discount at Wendy's. It's awesome.
Love that kid. Really do. He wants. Well,
shout out Stetson Bennett.
I was saying shout out Stetson Bennett. I was confused as hell because like they posted the list of seniors, and I was like, "Where's Damani Richardson?" And he responded to my tweet and was like, "Oh, I had senior night last year," and I said, "So did Anais." Like, so did Max Wright. They're like, round 2, let's go. Like,
maybe he's just like Ed O'Bannon or not Ed O'Bannon, but the character O'Bannon in Dazed and Confused, just coming back for another senior year with the old board, right? Wants to get another round in on the freshies.
Yeah, he gets older and they stay the same.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
I love it.
All right, let's talk rivalry week. We start with the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving.
Oh, man.
Are we doing picks? Is this picks?
This is. We talk about games and pick and whatever you want to do.
Come on, Mitch. You've seen this show. We just fly by the seat of our pants.
I am your loyal listener.
Yeah. Adrian's not here. I guess after Miami lost a couple games, he faded into the sunset.
They beat A&M and he was here, man. He was here.
Yeah.
And now they're not.
After that Georgia Tech game, he's been MIA.
When you losing to Haynes King will do that to you.
Well, we got to put Jacksonville State up there for NMSU. We got to pick that one.
Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
In there.
Appreciate that. Or we could skip ahead to the CUSA championship game between Liberty and NMSU.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
a little more enticing. That one's, I think, first week of December. It's next week after next. Yeah.
All right. We'll start with the Egg Bowl and then we'll get there. Who's got opinions on how badly Ole Miss will kill Mississippi State?
Does anybody think Mississippi State has a chance at all?
No.
So I will have one story. The last time Greg Knox led a 5-6 team at home against their in-state rival was 2021 when Dan Mullen had gotten fired and Greg Knox led Florida to a win over FSU in the Swamp. That's where the play where FSU tried an onside kick and missed, and the ball just like fell off the tee. So I'm going to go the Fighting Greg Knoxes in an upset.
It is rivalry this week. Anything can happen.
Yep.
So wait, Greg Knox is the interim coach? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was Mullen's interim coach after he got fired.
I just looked up. So the spread is Ole Miss by 10.5.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm going Greg Knox here. I believe in him.
Jalen Henderson and A&M beat him by 41. And we saw Jalen Henderson almost screw up us against Abilene Christian. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We eventually opened it up and turned it around, but like that first possession, I was like, we're throwing interceptions against Abilene Christian. All right, cool.
I mean, wasn't it? Who did Ole Miss play last week? It was 7-3 at halftime.
ULM
Versus ULM. So like, rivalry game. You come out fired up. You never
Where
know.
is it?
In Starkville.
Stark Vegas.
I will say this too. Like in the preseason, it's worth noting too that Mississippi State is one of 3 SEC teams who are fighting for bowl eligibility this week. Okay, Mississippi State. Matt and I were talking about this in the in the preseason. We're like, look, man, this roster, they're very senior heavy. Seems like that a senior heavy team, people don't pay attention to them. They watch out for them. We said all these things, and then they just came out and fell flat on their face, right? Is that because coaching scheme, like stylistic change and all this kind of, because they're no more like fun and gun. They were just like all, or air raid, whether they were just all like run heavy, right? Like I haven't really watched them play, but is there a possibility that a new coach tries to do something different? And I don't know, things get weird, rivalry game, somebody pees on a goalpost, something like that.
That's peeing on the goalpost.
This one's crazy. This one's always fun to watch on Thanksgiving.
I'm looking forward to watch. I'm gonna watch it at your house, Cole.
Come on over. We'll have it
Be
on.
there. I'm leaving tomorrow.
I know. Yeah. I was gonna say you'll be here very soon. Yeah, no, we can have it on. I would throw out there too, like they just got back. They're starting quarterback and running back. Mississippi State did last week, right? So
Will Rogers is back.
Yep, and Jacavius Marks. So
and they're trying to get bowl eligible.
Yeah, I mean, there's the motivation there. They've got,
and Kiffin has a
in
reputation
the right spots,
failing at the end of seasons. Ole Miss has only ever won 10 games in a regular season once in their history, and they're at 9 right now.
So
am I talking myself into it?
I feel like I've somehow managed to talk all of you into it.
Yeah, I mean, you start to look at it.
I just hate Lane Kiffin.
This might be a better game than anybody's predicting, right?
All of us know.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll take them. I'll take the Bulldog.
Yeah.
Why not?
I ain't got nothing to lose. It ain't like we betting anything.
Yeah. I mean, you saw my predictions. It's all based on emotion. There's no logic here.
100%.
I had Tigers going 11-1 on the spreadsheet. So.
Yeah. I'll said it before. I'll say it again. You're not going to catch me picking against my own team. I don't care how stupid it looks. Right? Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Good Lord.
All right. I'm taking the Maroon Dogs, man. That's it.
I'm still stuck on the fact that A&M did maroon out 2 weeks ago against Mississippi State. And I was like, why are we maroon outing against a maroon team?
So much maroon.
I was like,
I mean, what better time to maroon
too?
Right? I mean, you get both teams in maroon, like that's the ultimate maroon out, right?
Of course, we did after firing Jimbo wear maroon pants and maroon shirts because Jimbo didn't allow them to do alternative uniforms.
Yeah, so I saw the sleeves thing
do what I want. Like Moose Muhammad decided to wear his sleeves after Jimbo basically benched him for it.
Yeah.
So Moose said, fuck you, and then did, all the magical things. All the magical things, like hurdling over people and shit. Like, I know it's Abilene Christian, but still. Like, why has this kid not been playing? I have questions. I don't think Jimbo liked us. That's my belief on that. Let's see. We got on Friday, Sydney, Missouri, and Arkansas in Fayetteville.
Yep. That's correct.
That is a game that is happening.
That is taking place. Yep.
Mizzou's only favored by 7.5.
Maybe I'll be busy or something away from a TV. I don't know. I'm I don't think I've ever been so I'm done with the Razorback football right now. I mean, we've had some bad seasons, but it's just ugh.
was there a turning point? Like, what was the point that you decided, fuck this shit, I'm out?
When they were watching the Polar Express,
Yep.
while I paid money to be in the stands. That's when I was like,
Wait,
Nope.
who was watching the
What?
Polar Express?
Y'all didn't know this? Y'all didn't see this?
What? No, it's your responsibility
the
to keep
Polar
us up.
Express was on in the red shirt and walk-on's locker room during halftime while they're getting the breaks beat out of them by Auburn,
Who then lost to New Mexico State?
who then lost to the Aggies.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
So this would have been a week after they came to the swamp and ruined my birthday.
Yeah.
And God, fuck me, man.
So Arkansas beats. Wait, how does this go? Arkansas beat Florida. Auburn beat Arkansas. NMSU beat Auburn. Therefore, NMSU is better than Florida.
But
Correct.
we beat
I don't make
Tennessee,
rules.
who beat
Oh.
Texas A&M.
So therefore, NMSU is better than Aggie superiority.
I'm just gonna throw out there. We lost to UMass at the beginning of this season. Anybody who loses to UMass automatically falls way down real quick.
Yeah.
Where is the? Hold on. I saw this thing that someone said Utah is better than Alabama. Oh no, it's Ohio.
Yeah,
Ohio
Ohio
beat
Bobcats. Yeah.
State. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State beat Kansas. Kansas beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Texas. Texas beat Alabama. Therefore, Ohio is better than Bama.
It's clear. There it is.
That's some real 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon type action going on.
I was like, there you go.
Speaking of
There's
bacon, I think I'm going to take Missouri in this game.
Sorry, Sid.
Yeah, me too.
I am really liking Cody Schrader. Like, say all the negative that you need to now, Ethan, but I think the kid's a really, really good running back.
Oh no, he's good. Missouri is just an entirely I'm just gonna say it, bitch made program. What Drinkwitz did to Heupel.
What does it say? We stand on what did it say?
We stand on business.
We stand on business. Yeah.
Yes. The fact that Heupel did the whole we stand on business and then ran away after the handshake, and then basically their entire team after number 9 Missouri barely beat 5-5 Florida in Columbia, you would have thought that it's hard being a Florida fan these days. But I will be watching my damn TV on Saturday, convinced that we're going to knock off the number 4 team in the country. And I will be raging in chat like, what the fuck?
This is what Cindy and I get to deal with.
No, I'm pretty sure I sent one message this weekend, and it was just 4th and 17. That was literally the only thing I said, and then just got pissed drunk and went to sleep.
I was watching it with Josie in the bed. She was like, "Daddy, I can't sleep." And I'm like, "All right, well, let's watch the end of this football game." So I'm holding my phone like this or whatever. And she's like, "What's happening?" And I'm like, "Well, it's 4th and 17, and Missouri is going to have to probably throw a pass to Luther Burden, in order for." And sure enough, I was like, "Bloop." She's like, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, "That's Luther Burden."
Thanks a lot, Mitch. You spoke it into existence.
Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Put that shit in the universe.
But for that reason, I'm taking Arkansas.
Slay.
Oof.
No. Cindy,
Again, all emotion. Fuck Missouri.
Was it you all beating Florida that we spoke into existence that one week?
Yes, it was.
Let's speak it into existence.
I'm fine with that. There's going to be about 12
I feel like I
people
might have
at the
been
game, so-
partially responsible for that too. That was the week I came on with you guys, right? I was like,
That's true.
wouldn't it be weird if Arkansas won this game?
Crazy.
Weird shit has happened. Let's see.
If Florida does not get bowl eligible, Ethan, and winds up three-peating, does that turn the heat up on Napier, or is there anything that can happen? Like what's going on? Like,
okay, so I think that there's a significant portion of the fan base that realized we needed to clean out. Like, there's a lot of I would say probably 60 to 70% of the fan base realize, like, look, what we've been doing since Urban Meyer left is not working. It's piling on top. We're throwing band-aids on top of bullet holes, and it's just getting worse. Like, all these guys bottom out. All these guys start heading in the wrong direction. Like, let's just gut it and see what happens. Now, that's a bold strategy in college football in 2023 because you have teams like TCU last year. You have teams who can quickly flip a roster, who can quickly get into a good state. But those teams have all kind of shown, FSU this year is going to be kind of the first team that maybe even has a chance to be portal heavy and be competitive. Clemson, Georgia, Bama, all of that's homegrown talent recruited out of high school and developed within your own program. So, really, if we go 5-7, that portion of the fan base, it's not going to be a lot of sweat. But next year is going to be a lot of heat. There's also the same portion of the fan base that wanted to fire coaches before they ever even coached a game, and those people are still the ones that scream the loudest. So it's kind of like, every fan base has those. The problem is that, aside from the SEC teams that are currently really good, like Georgia and Bama, and then to a lesser extent LSU, Florida, Auburn, LSU, Georgia, Bama, like those are the only SEC schools that have won a title in most of our lifetimes, right? Right now, Florida and Auburn at least has the new coach Sheen. It's kind of New Mexico State definitely helped knock a lot of that off. And
we thank you.
yes, thank you. But Auburn and Florida both seem to be much further away from being back to that level than LSU is, and obviously Georgia and Bama are still there. So it's like, okay, that level of expectation at both Florida and Auburn, and really LSU, it's still there, right? Like, fans still expect to be at that level. And so to me, I'm definitely in the former group of like, look, our roster talent was heading in the wrong direction. Like Mullins last year we had 3 people drafted. Georgia had 15. Like, look at the All-American, look at the All-SEC, look at where things were heading after that 2020 season. And even during that 2020 season, I mean, the cleat eat really was a seismic event in Florida history. I mean, we're
in Georgia history too.
Yeah. The Lewis Scene hit is up there with the Jordan Reed fumble in plays that drastically changed the outcomes of seasons and games in ways you wouldn't expect. But yeah, man, I mean, Napier's getting a third year. Next year we start off with Miami. So really Napier's kind of walked into a bit of a hornet's nest where he had to go game 1 against Utah, 2-time defending Pac-12 champs. Next year, game 1 against Utah in Utah, and then next year we play Miami to open the season. So it's like, you better have the fucking ball rolling in game 1 for your first 3 years with a fan base that does not have any patience. But next year is definitely going to be put up or shut up.
You guys have to play every team in Florida next year, right? Like, you got UCF and FSU and Miami all in the same season.
Yeah, and we have Texas and Austin.
What happens though? Let me ask you that. And this is not trash talk. What happens if you guys go 0-3 in those 3 games?
Oh, Napier's that. If Napier wins fewer than 8 games next year, like, I think my expectation was to push to 8 this year, like to show some progress. The amount of production we've lost, like the amount of freshmen that we have playing all over the field, all over the defense, our second best receivers are freshmen. Half of our starting defense are freshmen. Like, there's a huge youth movement that shows next year should be better. However, if it's not, then he's gone. I mean, unless he somehow manages to go 0-3 against the state of Florida, but 7-1 in the rest of the games. Like, let's be real here. That's not happening either. Like, the odds of that happening are worse than him going 0-3 against the Florida schools. So, I mean, that's kind of where, eventually we have talent coming in. We have things going in the right direction in a lot of ways. eventually it's got to equate to wins. And I think next year is going to be sort of that, okay, now it's time to put up or shut up.
Fair.
I'm not beholden to any coach. I'm beholden to my school. Like, I like Napier. I think Napier's a good dude. I think he's a good coach. I think that he's got things going in a good direction. If you're not getting it done on Saturdays, though, it doesn't really matter. Like, do what you got to do to win. I mean,
I think I would agree with you 100% of what you just said. Like, I think that Napier's doing what should be done, but I don't know that
He's the
Gaines,
guy.
I don't know that Gainesville's going to give him time, you know, and maybe maybe what he's doing is just going to require too much time, you know.
that's. Oh, go ahead, Cole.
Oh, no, please.
Well, that's one thing that a lot of people have said is like he has stuck to his process, right? He has stuck to, we're not going to come in and this, I personally agree with this. I don't think that a coach should come in and kick players off of his roster. Like, I don't think if a 17, 18-year-old kid commits to go to your school and then they fire the coach and then a new coach comes in and tells the guy to kick rocks, that's fucked up to me. Like, that kid, I get it from a competitive standpoint, but like what Dion did at Colorado, like what Hugh Freeze did to some extent at Auburn, like coming in and telling these kids, tough shit, I'm replacing you. Like 98% of these guys don't go on to pros. They don't get NIL. They don't get anything. They're there to play football and do what they love and go to school. And that's what college football is supposed to be about. And so from a moral standpoint, I agree with that process. Competitively, he hasn't been aggressive enough in the portal. So it further narrows his margin of error. And we saw the same thing with Muschamp, and we saw the same thing with McElwain. And obviously with, Mullen, his was not getting rid of Todd Grantham. But Muschamp and McElwain's offensive style and philosophy was very control the ball, control the clock, play great defense, win the game. And when you do that, if you fumble, if you throw a pick, if you don't score points, your margin of error is tiny. And Napier's done a similar thing to where he made himself OC and QB coach. Like, okay, one really easy way to alleviate pressure is you fire your coordinator. Jimbo go out and hiring Bob Petrino. Like, you go out and make a change and show you're trying to adapt. Napier appointing himself with all that responsibility at a school like Florida, like now he has to go and hire an OC. The defense sucks. Like you got a special teams coordinator that's not even an on-field coach. You got a lot of stuff that you got to fix, and you've kind of dug a hole for yourself because you've decided to kind of do weird shit like 2 O-line coaches, like no special teams coach. Like these things that could work out, but if they don't work out, you get hit in the head with it for criticism. So yeah, go Gators. Stop being a Gator.
I honestly don't see how they go 0-3 against the Florida schools next year. It's like Miami, I feel like it's almost, I don't want to say it's in the bag, jinx you guys or anything, but like, Cristobal has been on the ropes for, in my opinion, the last couple of seasons now. And he hasn't really shown any progress with that Miami program. They made a splash a few years ago.
Why don't you ask Shelbie about that?
They flattened out. Let's,
that's all I have to say about that. Well, at least
I mean,
okay.
Napier gets a lot of heat because Florida fans in general are like, there's still a big portion of our fan base that loves the fact that Florida started the firebronzook.com website, right? Like there's a lot of people in our fan base that kind of lean into that overly impatient, high expectation, like boiler room of a program. And every championship level program has those expectations, has those fans. Like they're everywhere. I'm not saying it's just a Florida thing, but I think Florida is sort of unique in a lot of ways in that they point back to that as, oh well, that got him fired, and then Urban Meyer came in, and then Urban Meyer was just in an interview talking about how they were 13-1 and getting booed at the bowl game because they lost the SEC championship game. And Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier have both come out and said like how overwhelming it can be to deal with the Florida fan base. However, the Florida fan base relishes it for whatever fucking reason. And so you're just like, dude, your two best coaches in your history are coming out and saying you guys literally wear them out. And you guys are just like, yeah, goddamn right we do. We'll do it again. And it's like, you're like, what, guys? Like, can we not? But Mario Cristobal, being from Miami, being a Miami player, being a Miami grad, Miami fans really don't seem to care that much that he got boat raced by Middle Tennessee State, or that he missed a bowl game, or that he literally lost a game.
You could have just said Miami fans don't seem to care that much.
I mean, they literally sold 2-for-1 tickets and still had a 33% field.
It was buy one get two free.
Yeah,
get two free. Yep.
Yeah.
So Miami and Florida. Miami likes to think that they're not in the same kind of fucked up arena we are, but they are. UCF has had a rough transition to Big 12 too, and FSU, they have like 16, 17 super seniors on that roster. Like, this was a roster built for this year, and now Jordan Travis is done. And it's like, how, you guys have the experience, you guys have the weapons, you guys have the players. Boston College about knocked you off. Like, a bad Clemson team almost knocked you off. Duke gave you everything they could handle. It was 13-0 against Northern Alabama. Like, FSU's looking pretty beatable with their best team in a decade. So, I think...
How much you know about Florida State? Should I worry about how much you know about Florida State?
Shelbie. I went through this with Ducati. You gotta follow your enemies. Like, you gotta know what they're
Rage
doing.
Against the Machines. Know your enemy.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know a lot about
Kansas.
About Kansas.
I know my enemy lost to Kansas twice.
Oh,
that's all I got for you.
So,
got a whole bucket of rock chalk back there.
UCF's life's about to get a lot more miserable too, considering you mentioned Utah. Utah's jumping over to Big 12. Is that next year after? Like,
it's 2024, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's next season.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a shot where Napier can.
I think we have a better
his
chance
blow
of going,
softened due to some of the stuff going on at some of the other schools.
I think we have a chance. I think we have a better chance of going 3-0 against the state of Florida teams than we do of going 0-3.
Yeah,
FSU's losing a ton. Like I said, we're going to be bringing back like 20 out of 22 starters on our team next year. Like, knock on wood, no portal guys. Maybe 18 out of 22, something like that. A very high number. And that's going to be the first time that Florida's had that since 2020. Like, that was the last time we had a sort of veteran, decent team like going into the year. And I think that's going to be a huge thing, because every year since then, it's been a new starting quarterback, a new starting running back, new wide receivers, new offensive line, new defense. It's been a churn. And every time we get anybody who's worth a damn, they go to the pros just immediately. So, and we haven't recruited well enough to replace that. And that's kind of how we've gotten into the cycle of suck that we've been in for the past 3 years.
Plot twist: recruiting really well doesn't help you do shit.
Doesn't hurt though.
Counterpoint.
But sometimes it doesn't help.
I can't think of anybody that's hurt. But I'll stand on business or whatever it is. Whatever it is.
I will.
I'm just gonna run out and shake hands and say some random shit like,
Yeah,
you forgot to flush the toilet, and just
just fucking book it out of there. Just go into the bank.
I have to ask this because last week Sydney and I had Michael on, our Alabama fan, and he says that he doesn't know a single member of that 2021 class from A&M.
That was I listened to a little bit of that. I was like, man, this guy, like, that says more about him than it does about the situation he's trying to illustrate, though, because there were some pretty good names.
I was like, how do you not know who Walter Nolan is?
How did you forget Smoke Bowie, for God's sakes? The illustrious Smoke Bowie.
The illustrious Smoke Bowie.
Didn't even make it out of spring practices.
Good Lord.
We still don't know what happened to that kid. I follow him on Instagram, and occasionally he goes live, and he's just like hanging out at the Chick-fil-A parking lot. Like,
Is he
what are you
drag?
doing, dude?
Is he
Is he back
drag?
in Bainbridge?
Oh, is he drag? Yeah, I think he's in Bainbridge. Yeah, he was at the. I'm not kidding you. Like, he was at the Chick-fil-A next to the Home Depot, like in Bainbridge. Like, and I'm just like, people are always in there like, dude, where are you going next? Where are you going next? And I'm like, he's going to Popeyes, like right across the street. Like, that dude ain't doing nothing. Like, what the hell happened with that? It was like, even Kirby, like a Bainbridge guy, Kirby was like, yeah, man, this is not working out. Sorry,
No, bro.
I'm sorry,
No.
man. Ain't nobody got it so good that they can just say, we don't need that 5-star corner or whatever, Jeez. But
Honest to God, if you want to see something funny, look at A&M fans' responses to anything Evan Stewart tweets. Anything.
All right.
Because fans are literally like, oh my God, he's going to transfer.
Future Gator, Evan Stewart.
Yep.
Cole's brother-in-law, Evan Stewart.
Literally anything he tweets, people are like, oh my God, we're losing him. And I'm like, guys, calm down. Calm down. It's going to be okay. Even if he does leave, it's going to be okay.
Hey, let's can we get I don't want to be this guy, but can we get through these picks, because I hear Heather starting to yell at my children.
Yeah, I also have a similar.
But y'all keep talking, and by y'all I mean Ethan.
Hey. All right. Florida over Florida State.
Okay.
In the least surprising pick of the night.
All right, Kentucky and Louisville is where we're at, though.
Hold on. Time out. We got to do picks. Who's picking what? Everybody going Florida State?
Kentucky and Louisville. I'm going in
I mean,
order.
you have to, right? Like,
Florida State.
Sorry.
No thumbs down. That's rude.
Oh Jesus. I'm going to pick Florida State because I think that's who will win the game. But that's the only reason. I want to not pick either one of them, but
I hope for an earthquake.
All right.
Not in up northern Florida. That's like, I hope the karst topography collapses or something.
Got the odds stacked against us. Got them right where we want them.
Are ties still a thing?
No, thankfully.
2-2. All right,
So
now Kentucky and Louisville.
I like Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
Kentucky's a husk of themselves. The
going
big blue
Kentucky.
drum doesn't make a sound.
You're going Kentucky?
Yep.
Oh boy.
All right, A&M and LSU at 11 a.m. So don't let. Of course, it's at 11 a.m. So it's not at night in the swamp in the Death Valley. Sorry, I was thinking Florida in Death Valley, but we've never won in Death Valley since joining the SEC. So there's that.
Not going to start this year.
Nope.
I think the Jaden Daniels stat train continues. Give that boy to Heisman.
They don't have a defense to speak of, but they have enough offense to make up.
That just means he can get back on the field faster. That's all that means.
Let's see.
You got to be on the field to get 600 yards of total offense against a team.
True.
Scored a touchdown on every possession.
The Iron Bowl.
That's easy.
Iron Bowl. What's the spread on the Iron Bowl?
Yeah, that's a great question.
14.5 according to ESPN.
Oh.
I've got Bama.
Bama by more than 14.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say after this, like,
I'll take Auburn in the points.
I'll take Bama. Bama covers.
Yeah, Bama covers. I feel like NMSU just kind of cut open a hole, and Bama's just gonna go in and rip it open even wider.
It's at Jordan Hare, isn't it? Yeah.
Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
That Magic got sucked out of the building this past weekend.
Yeah.
You mean the best stadium in the country?
Magic's funny like that.
It is a stadium in the country.
It is surely a stadium in the country. We know Tennessee will beat Vandy.
Do we know that?
I'm taking Vandy with plus 27. I mean, or yeah, plus 27. I'd take the points with Vandy.
Georgia beat the absolute soul and will to live out of Tennessee last week. I wouldn't be surprised if they just like could not be bothered to get out of bed on Saturday.
I just want to point out, if I had told you before the season that Graham Mertz would have 500 more passing yards than Joe Milton before the season started, everybody on this show would have laughed at me.
I would have. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's all. That's my only.
Yeah,
Get better soon, Graham. Thinking about you, buddy.
Man, that was a heroic clavicle break. I mean, what? Like that was. I was
he just got back up and ran the next play, and then the next play he's just like, "Oh, my arm!" and everybody's like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like
you would have been proud of me, Ethan, because when
he
he
just
did,
handed
I was
the
even
ball
like,
off.
I was like, "Yeah, baby,"
how could you not? He just took the hit.
The adrenaline, man.
I got excited for a Florida player playing against a team that I have been hyping, right? Like I've been like banging the Missouri drum, and then it's just like Mertz runs through those two guys. I'm like, holy snap! It was a wonderful thing. And then
Graham, Anthony Richardson, Mertz.
Oh Lord, I wish that upon him.
All right,
Graham, Anthony, Tim, Tebow, Richardson, Mertz before.
It's a crazy thing, as Zach Calzada. Poor Zach Calzada. Every time he does something good, I just assume he was broken right before it.
I think we got one more. We got one more?
Yes. 2 more.
Oh.
3 more if you count New Mexico State. Georgia and Georgia Tech. That's pretty easy. Please don't kill Haynes King.
24 points spread.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to get anybody hurt. Like, no injuries, please. No injuries. Just get through this. Oh, but we're going for 29. So that's a thing. It's a 7:30 game at Tech. That's weird. I mean, I'm taking Georgia, but 24 is a lot of points. But we are going for 29. So that's it. No injuries, please.
No injuries. And
Please,
then we
no
got
injuries.
Clemson in South Carolina.
Is it still Cocktober? It is no longer Cocktober. But it's only a 7-point game. Man, Clemson's terrible.
Yeah.
Let's
go, Spencer Rattler, baby. Let's go.
Spencer Rattler.
I'm taking him.
He's graduating.
I can't root for Shane Beamer.
I'm going Clemson.
Yeah, I'm going Clemson too.
I want to see Beamer and Drinkwitz like start a feud. I want those two to feud, right? It's like
Drinkwitz and Beamer make Heupel look like Drinkwitz and Beamer make Heupel look like a lovable figure. Like they make me want to root for Brian Kelly. Like that's how obnoxious those two guys are to me. Like I didn't know it was possible. Beamer was complaining about the student section leaving early. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the cockpit, apparently it's called.
Maybe if you didn't suck, you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man,
he's just a crybaby.
Don't ever go to a New Mexico State game. That stuff's empty at halftime every week in, week out.
I say A&M,
yeah, but it's also 1,000 degrees there, so like, come on.
That's fair too. That's fair.
Cool.
You guys could have the Miami Dolphins, and I'd still be leaving.
AC and cold beer is a lot better than watching a 2-19 play. You know? Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, so we're all taking Clemson pretty much.
I'm taking South Carolina.
I'm hoping for South Carolina just to see Debo go down a little bit further. Why not? That dude needs to spiral a little bit.
And then, so is New Mexico State going to beat Liberty? Because we know they'll beat Jackson State, right?
Yeah, we got Jackson State in the bag. Totally.
I think it's Jacksonville State, is it not?
It is Jackson. It is Jacksonville State. I was going to be nice.
The team that beat Florida State last year.
I'm looking at Jax.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
Yes.
Remember the Florida State cheerleaders on the sideline after that last touchdown?
Yeah, I hope we beat Jacksonville State. And yeah, I mean Liberty, like they stomped us earlier. They beat us right good earlier this year. But I feel like, with this victory over Auburn, we're
And
right at
MSU is
6.
favored by 2.
We're really, because that's changed over the last 3 days. 3 days ago, Liberty was favored by, I want to say, as much as 14.
No, I'm
So-
talking about against Jayville.
Oh yeah. They'll have it against Jacksonville State, but yeah, against Liberty, I think we're 14-point dogs, give or take. So
13.5.
yeah, I one can hope and pray, and I got to root. I'll go down with the ship.
Let's go Aggies.
And if we lose, then I'll go buy a keg of booze and wobble in my shoes, just like any other New Mexico State Aggie will do.
There you go.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Wow. Awesome.
All right, friends. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Mashed
Thank you
potatoes,
for
not a
having me
side.
on.
Thanks for joining us, Cole.
Yeah, thanks
Bye,
for coming,
guys.
Cole. Goodbye.